Hi, it's Adrian, and this is Carrie.
Hi.
And first video. It's called Allure Home Sport. Did I pronounce home right?
Ohm.
Home. So, can you tell them more about it?
So there is a line of fragrances by Chanel called Allure Homme. This one, which comes from kind of the earlier part of the line where it really was meant to be a fresh, sporty type of a scent that you would use in situations where like you're outside, it's warm, you're going to be around other people, possibly playing tennis or just exercising at the gym, sitting at the pool or something like that. It's probably more thought of as a citrus type of a cologne, which is probably why you like it.
Why do I like citrus?
Because it's not super sweet and powdery and
Oh, yeah,
things
yeah.
it's a sweet citrus.
It's a sweet citrus.
So, which is different than something like a sweet cotton candy type of a
Sweet.
cologne.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, this one falls under the category of a citrus cologne, and as a cologne, it's usually meant that it is a lighter concentration. It's actually an eau de toilette, which means it's a little bit stronger in the concentration, but it comes off smelling light. The notes that are in this one are citrus, fresh, aromatic, woody, spicy. And so those are going to have some nice notes to start out with when you first put it on, but then they die down to a kind of a nice woody type of a fragrance as
Wood?
it's been.
It has wood?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know.
Yep.
Well, how come I didn't know?
Probably because you're used to smelling it right first when you put it on, but then after you've had it on for a while, you don't notice what's left that much because you've been smelling it all that time.
Is that normal?
Yeah, it's called nose blind or anosmia. It's an actual thing. When you live next to something, let's say if you live next to a rubber factory and you smell the fumes coming out of the rubber factory all day, eventually you don't smell it as much as somebody who just came into town to visit you.
Is the wood the one that attracts people or the citrus?
Well, it can be any of those. And part of the thing with colognes is the reason you smell it is because it evaporates from your skin.
Okay.
And there are essential oils that they get from various types of plants, and some of them are synthetic, but they're all designed to evaporate at a different rate.
Okay.
So you typically, in most colognes or most fragrances, you will have top notes, middle notes, and base notes, where the top notes are what you smell shortly after you put it on. Middle notes are what's there maybe after half an hour to what you notice most after about half an hour or so after the top notes have already evaporated away. Like that nice lemony mandarin smell that you get from it when you first put on, that pretty much is gone by about an hour.
Okay, so I can still smell it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
And then after about an hour or so, you'll be left with things that smell kind of like a pine resin, spices, and maybe a little bit of incense.
Incense? There's incense in this?
It's actually a tree resin, but
Should I pray?
You should.
I should. Why do you think they call it sport?
Because it's a lighter, fresher version. You can spray it on a couple different times during something to get those lighter, high notes of the fresh, fruity smells and stuff. And it's something that would be appropriate and not choke other people out if you're, like, say, playing tennis or you're playing volleyball together or something.
I think, like, when you're sweaty, I don't think any fragrance is good on you. But then...
Well, you bring up a good point there, because a lot of people... Some people say that when they smell a citrus fragrance on someone and it's kind of hot or that person may be sweaty, that it makes them smell sweaty. Or that a citrus fragrance will smell like sweaty armpits to them.
Yeah, but...
No, I don't think so. I think it smells like citrus, and sweaty armpits smell like sweaty armpits. But there are people that their body odor is kind of sour smelling. And I think people are used...
Let's just not go there. How about let's skip that?
Let's skip that. The other thing to think about is what's left after that middle sort of evaporates away. And then that's called the base notes. And that's what you're left with after usually a few hours or so. So these are the things that people smell mostly if they're close enough to you to be giving you a hug. And in this case, it would be pepper, vetiver, cedar, white musk, and tonka bean.
Okay.
And the nice thing about this with the white musk in it, musk doesn't have a smell necessarily, but it helps to kind of push some of the other fragrances to evaporate, and it gives them a little bit of a fuzzy edge. So it's kind of like if you picked up a handful of fresh laundry and smelled it, that fuzzy smell that you get from, some freshly dried laundry. It does that with some of the scents that are left, like in this case, like the cedar, tonka bean, vetiver. So you have a kind of a grassy, woody sort of a smell and something very underlying sweet. Tonka bean is kind of like a fancy version of vanilla.
And my last question is, can you wear this for any occasion other than sport?
Yes. This one is a pretty safe fragrance to wear for just about any occasion. You could wear it for, going out on a date. You could wear it for getting together with some friends. You're not going to choke anybody out with this unless you dump literally the whole bottle on yourself. And some people do, of course.
We won't go there.
Right. But on the kind of the real, if you flip that question to where it really answers what question somebody would say, well, when might not it be good? This one isn't going to be one that if you wear it to like a nightclub or something, nobody's going to notice it. It doesn't scream out like some of the ones that are designed to really project.